Good morning, I'm Rimo, and this is the Daily Signal for November 21st, 2025. We're starting with breaking news. Iran has just withdrawn from international nuclear inspections in a move that's sending shockwaves through global security agencies. This is developing rapidly, and here's what we know so far.
Unfiltered. Now.
That's just the beginning. Here are 9 more critical stories breaking today that could change everything. Breaking. Russia's overnight missile attack on Ukraine kills 25 civilians, including 4 children, in what officials are calling a war crime. Urgent. Israeli airstrikes shatter fragile Gaza ceasefire, 33 dead, including 9 children, as violence explodes across the Strip. Developing. Vietnam flooding crisis deepens, 41 confirmed dead, with meteorologists warning more devastating storms are hours away. Explosive. UK COVID inquiry reveals government failures cost thousands of lives. Officials knew delays would be deadly. Crisis. Israel accused of crimes against humanity in West Bank refugee camps as international pressure mounts. Emergency. Fire forces mass evacuations at UN Climate Summit in Brazil, 13 people hospitalized from smoke inhalation. Unprecedented. Meta begins shutting down Australian teen accounts under new government ban, parents divided. Major shift. Turkey defeats Australia for 2026 Climate Summit in diplomatic upset that's reshaping global alliances. Alarming pattern. These stories are all connected to a bigger global crisis that's accelerating. These stories are developing fast. Let's get the critical details you need to know. The Iran nuclear situation is spiraling out of control as we speak. Yesterday, Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, terminated their agreement with international nuclear inspectors, saying, quote, "This understanding is no longer valid and should be considered terminated." What authorities aren't telling you is that this came just hours after Israel and U.S. sanctions were reimposed through the snapback mechanism. Iran has been hiding new enrichment work at a site called Pickaxe Mountain, and now inspectors are completely locked out. Regional analysts are warning this could trigger another Israel-Iran war. Without inspections, nobody knows what Iran is really building. This is happening right now, and the implications are staggering. But that's not the only crisis today. Meanwhile, another situation is spiraling in Ukraine. Russia's overnight missile strikes on Ternopil have killed 25 civilians, including 4 children, with over 50 wounded. Ukrainian officials confirm Russian forces targeted civilian sites with no military value. This is being called a deliberate war crime. What's shocking is that Ternopil is in western Ukraine, far from the front lines, showing Putin is expanding his terror campaign. President Zelensky is calling this part of Putin's general winter strategy, using the cold season to break Ukrainian morale through civilian targeting. International leaders are scrambling to respond, but sources confirm our worst fears about escalation. Adding to today's chaos, the Middle East crisis deepens as Israeli airstrikes have killed 33 people in Gaza, including 9 children, shattering a ceasefire that lasted barely days. This represents a complete breakdown of peace efforts. Over 70 people are injured in what Palestinian health authorities are calling disproportionate attacks on Gaza City and northern areas. The human cost is devastating. Families torn apart just as they thought violence was ending. The UN Secretary General is demanding immediate ceasefire renewal, but both sides appear to be preparing for prolonged conflict. In related breaking news, a natural disaster is unfolding in central Vietnam, where flooding has killed at least 41 people, with meteorologists warning the worst is yet to come. Heavy monsoon rains are forecast for the next 48 hours across Quang Nam and surrounding provinces. Rescue teams are racing against time as landslides continue to trap victims. The Vietnamese government has declared a state of emergency, but sources reveal this storm system could affect millions more. International aid is arriving, but the situation is deteriorating faster than response efforts. The crisis deepens as we turn to. Shocking revelations from the UK COVID inquiry show government failures cost thousands of lives through what officials knew was a too little, too late response. The report estimates tens of thousands of excess deaths in 2020-2021 due to delayed lockdowns, testing shortages, and PPE failures. What's most disturbing, internal documents show officials knew these delays would be deadly, but proceeded anyway. Parliament is now debating accountability measures while opposition parties demand resignations. This isn't just about the past, it's about whether governments learned anything for future pandemics. But government accountability issues extend beyond the UK. Israel is facing accusations of crimes against humanity following military operations in West Bank refugee camps that have displaced dozens and injured many more. Human rights organizations report excessive force, collective punishment, and unlawful detentions at Jalazon and Al Arub camps. The Palestinian Authority is calling for International Criminal Court investigations. What makes this critical is the timing. These operations risk sparking broader unrest across the region, while Gaza violence is already escalating. Diplomatic efforts have stalled, and tensions are at a breaking point. Even climate diplomacy isn't safe from crisis. Emergency evacuations disrupted UN climate talks in Brazil yesterday when fire broke out at the conference venue, sending 13 people to hospitals with smoke inhalation. While firefighters contained the blaze within 2 hours and no one died, the incident highlights how even efforts to address global warming face unexpected disruptions. Security has been increased, and climate talks continue, but this adds another layer of uncertainty to already tense negotiations about fossil fuel phase-outs. Speaking of climate politics, in a major diplomatic shift, Turkey has defeated Australia to host the 2026 Global Climate Summit, reshaping international climate alliances. Turkey's winning proposal emphasized bridging continents and climate equity, while Australia's bid was criticized for insufficient commitments on coal phase-out. This decision signals changing global priorities and could influence climate policy direction. Istanbul is now preparing venues while climate leaders welcome what they see as stronger diplomatic engagement. Technology policy is also creating international divisions. Meta has begun notifying Australian teenagers that their Facebook and Instagram accounts will be restricted or shut down starting December 1st under new government legislation targeting youth online harm. Parents and advocacy groups are divided. Some praise efforts to protect children from misinformation and harmful content. Others worry about limiting freedom of expression and connectivity. This unprecedented move affects millions of young users and could set a global precedent for social media regulation. Other countries are watching closely. All of these stories connect to a broader pattern. What we're seeing today isn't random. These crises reveal a world where traditional systems are breaking down simultaneously. From Iran's nuclear defiance to Russia's civilian targeting, from Gaza's shattered ceasefire to climate summit disruptions, the pattern is clear. International agreements and diplomatic solutions are under unprecedented strain. The human cost is staggering, whether it's families in Vietnam facing floods, Ukrainian civilians under attack, or teenagers losing digital connections. These aren't distant problems. They affect global security, economic stability, and social fabric everywhere. What authorities aren't saying is how connected these crises are. Nuclear tensions, regional wars, climate chaos, and social disruption create feedback loops that accelerate instability. The question isn't whether these situations will worsen, it's how quickly they'll affect your daily life. Economic markets are already responding, security agencies are on high alert, and governments are scrambling to maintain stability. This is all part of a bigger picture that's unfolding in real time. We're not just witnessing separate news events, we're seeing the emergence of what experts call polycrisis, multiple breakdowns happening simultaneously. These developing situations demand your attention because their consequences reach far beyond headlines. From nuclear inspections to social media bans, from war crimes to climate chaos, these stories are shaping the world you'll wake up to tomorrow. We'll continue monitoring these breaking situations throughout the day. Stay informed, stay prepared, and remember, in times like these, reliable information isn't just helpful, it's essential. This is Remo with the Daily Signal. We'll be back tomorrow with more breaking coverage you need to know.
Unfiltered.